All right, who's doing the intro?
What are we doing for the intro?
Hello and welcome to the to the Cancer Podcast.
No, it's me. I do it.
I'm your host, Cancer. I have the most subscribers. I'm obviously the guy who does the intro.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you go for it then. Go for it.
Who's got the nicer voice, though? That's the real question.
Yeah. Obviously Mason.
Definitely Mason, yeah.
You ready? You ready to get started?
Yeah.
Wait, is my mic clear?
Yeah.
Yes, you sound.
Yeah, what about
fine.
mine?
You sound great. Oh my
Mic
God.
check.
Okay. Hello and welcome to.
Wait.
I'm trying to do my thing here, okay, guys? I'm trying to get in the zone. Trying to be a host here, all right?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the MISFITZ podcast.
0.
Isn't it episode 0?
0.
Okay. Episode 0. It's the draft. This probably isn't even going to go on the internet, but I'm going to run through everyone who's in the room right now and introduce everybody. Okay, so we got Zuckles, aka Mason.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Well, not much, man. Just doing the intro. So if you could just possibly not interrupt me, that would be fantastic.
I didn't
SwaggerSouls is
interrupt
here as well.
you.
Stop interrupting me, you little shit! Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, SwaggerSouls is here as well.
Oh, hey, what's
Thank
going
you
on?
for
How
interrupting
are
me.
you?
We have McCreamy, aka Jay.
Hi.
We have John on the radio, aka for some reason Toby.
Hello.
And we have iNut, aka Matt.
Heyo.
And today we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. To be honest, none of us really know what we're going to do. Mason just rolled out of bed.
I know what
Toby just woke up from a nap.
I know what I'm going to do.
Swagger's ready. I'm feeling ready. So let's get things started.
This fucking lighter won't work. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay.
All right. Are you about to smoke right now? I'll take that as a yes. This is going to be a disaster.
Oh no.
It's actually an ASMR experience about the noises of SwaggerSouls anatomy.
Yes. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What are we talking about? What are we laying down?
Well, I think the good place to start, because this is kind of like the draft episode, the pilot episode, if you will, is probably to talk about, how we all know each other and how we all came to be where we are, and just talk about, how we're feeling about YouTube and everything in general right now. Get the groundwork down and sorted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Swagger, why don't you start? Like, how did you meet everyone here?
So, I think this happened before iNut, before I even met iNut. I met you, Mr. Fitz. We met on, I believe it was a surf server called ZTS, and what had happened was this guy Gumby Gamer. He was on a surf server. He goes, "Hey, you do a lot of similar shit to this guy Fitz. He has a YouTube channel, 10K subs." And at the time, I was only at like 500. So, I was wringing my hands going, "Ooh, I could leech off of this guy." So I was like, well, I got to meet him. So he goes, "Absolutely. Yeah, I'll get you into a match with him." And then we got into a match and we just hit it off like immediately. Started doing some shit together. We did that the radio show on the surf server. We did all that shit. Mm-hmm. And then,
legendary.
Oh yeah,
that video was great.
That was an awesome video. Shame we can't do that shit anymore.
Well, I think the thing that really kind of made us connect immediately was that we were both kind of into trolling and improv and just messing with people on these surf servers. For those of you who don't know, our surf server is a server in CSGO where just a bunch of fucking jackoffs are just in a server together doing this little mini game, but it's mostly about just talking to random people.
Occasionally there's people that just drop in to go, and ruin everybody's day. Yeah, Mike's
a lot of air rape, but yeah, I mean, for Swagger and me, that was how we got our start, really. I mean, me and Toby were also doing a bunch of that stuff together on surf servers before.
That was how I met Swagger as well. We used to do that on Fitz's stream.
Yeah. Oh man, the stream.
Oh, dude, those were the days. And then I met iNoToRiOuS.
The 10K streams.
I recall it being the night before my grandma's birthday. My dad comes into my room and he goes, "Son, you got to cut that dumb shit out," because I was streaming at the time and I was always like, keeping my family up. And he's like,
really?
Yeah, he goes, "You got to cut that shit out. Not tonight. Do it any night but tonight. Just go to sleep and wake up in time for your grandma's birthday, and then we'll drive out." And I was like, okay. And I was lying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I was trying to go to sleep for like an hour, and I couldn't fucking fall asleep. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go on, but I'm not going to stream, so I didn't break out my Casio. So I go on this random surf server, and I was just going to do the thing that, like, I started to do that everyone was kind of starting to do, which was rapping on CSGO. Remember that?
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And what ends up happening is I get into this random surf server. It was called Dominant Slayer. And we started doing this rap battle thing. And it was me against this guy who was just shit. He was just terrible. He shouldn't even have tried. But I'm glad he did, because I got to show my talent, quote unquote. And iNoToRiOuS was there. I think he was at like 50K subs. And I'd never heard of him. And I never watched any of his content before. And so I didn't even know he was a YouTuber. So I did all that shit. And then at the end, I was like, oh shit, he's a YouTuber. And he just fucking recorded it. So I added him to my friends list. He added me because he liked me. We started talking. And then I was playing DayZ with my friends, my high school friends. And I think we were heading to Cherno, and I just start getting these fucking, these Steam friend requests. I'm like, why the fuck am I getting so many friend requests? What the fuck is going on? And I'm like, oh, like, what the fuck? I checked Twitter, because I followed iNot on Twitter, and he just posted the video that I was in, and it was getting a ton of views, and it got to like the top of like the CSGO Reddit for like a day or 2 days. And then it quickly got to like 1 million views, and I was getting subs from it because I already had a small channel established. So I got a couple thousand subs. In a month, I was at like 30K. And it got to the point where I was like, oh shit, I actually have an audience I can entertain now with my hobby. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to capitalize on the amount of views and the amount of people that are coming for content. And I'm going to keep doing the content they came for. And that's how I came to know iNot.
At the exact same time, my channel was blowing up on its own.
I
actually had a video as well around that exact same time, get on the front page of Reddit as well. So, God bless the CSGO
That
subreddit.
was the surfing shoutcast, right?
Yeah, it was me shoutcasting this poor kid on surf. It was just raging so hard. It was hilarious.
He had an issue with you after that, right?
He had an issue. Well, the problem was that I shoutcasted this kid on surf, and he was raging, and it was hilarious. And then after I started, it was really what kind of put me into the sphere that I'm in now. Like, it was that video took off, and then every single video I posted after that was always on recommended. I was always getting good views on my videos without the help of Reddit. So like a couple months later, when I'm at 100K plus subs, he's DMing me, and he's like, dude, you owe me your success, man. Like you owe me like everything you have. Like, it's kind of fucked that you just capitalized on me. I'm like, dude, like, that wasn't entertaining because of anything that you did. All you did was get mad. Like, I was the one who was like entertaining people with the shoutcasting.
So it's
like, oh yeah, exactly. He was a component for sure, but it wasn't because of any talent. He was just upset. So, anyway, it was kind of funny that me and Swagger met on the surf server before any of this happened. And then at this exact same time, we both started skyrocketing, thanks to CSGO and thanks to the god amongst us, iNot. And, at the same time, we were hanging out and we were recording videos like that radio show video that I mentioned before with you and me. That did really, really well. And so we started getting kind of known as this combo on surf servers. And I think we really, the three of us especially, launched this kind of new era of CSGO YouTube, where it was more based around interacting with the CSGO community. For one thing, the funny moments community for CSGO was definitely on the way out. So we kind of, I think in a sense, just added something new to CSGO content on YouTube, and people were finding us and people were really enjoying it. So things for all of us just kind of took off from there. Let's talk about Zuckles though, because you met Zuckles. Oh, you were a fan of Zuckles, right?
Yeah, dude, I got
me.
This goes back to before I even had a channel, before I was even streaming. I was a huge fan of Mason, and I was a huge fan of Faceless, because I loved Rust. I thought Rust was an awesome game, and I played it a lot. In fact, when I started YouTube, I wanted to be a Rust YouTuber. I think my first 5 or 6 videos were Rust videos. And very glad I didn't get put in that little niche. But all those videos are privated now. But regardless, I was a huge fan of Mason to the point where he had a 50K sub special where he did a thing. It was like an Arrow 1v1 event, which I died the first round. But I came on, and he said I was really well behaved because I came on, and he was playing in the middle of his...
No, let me just stop you. How funny is it that Mason came up to you and complimented you for being well behaved?
Yeah, pretty...
The Mason that we all know and love today complimented you for being well behaved.
But dude, like, he was playing in the middle of a storm, and like an actual thunderstorm, and he had like an M249. He was flying around, and there was like at least 50 people in this fucking room. And he ends up, his fucking power cuts out, and he goes into a sleeper. So, like, the Rusk model goes down, and you're able to loot them. So I looted it before anyone else, and I grabbed the M249, and I was like, back! And I told all the nakeds to fucking, to get away. And then Jellyfish was there, which is, like, I guess a friend of Mason's who was helping him mod the event.
Isn't it funny during all this time, like, while you were just telling people to get the fuck back, I was outside in the thunderstorm, like, messing with the fuse box while it's pissing down the rain.
So what? It was
sweating so hard.
Oh my god.
So was it cutting out your net or something? Was
No,
it
It cut his power out.
Yeah, everything just went black, dude. My room just went
you were just
dark.
AFK. So you're AFK in the server, and Swagger's protecting you with this.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
And then
Oh
he
my
comes
God, that's
back on,
hilarious.
and like a half hour later, and then everything works out. And then that was the last I hear of Mason until like I start my Twitch and I start my channel. And I made this one video called Bravery Slavery. It fucking ended up getting struck with like a copyright thing. It was claimed because I used like this film score that was like 68 years old instead of 75, so it was a public domain. So they blocked the video in like 51 countries. But luckily, one of those countries wasn't Australia because Mason checked it out. And,
Wow.
Mason checked it out and said, I recall like looking at my comments on my latest video, and it was Mason, and he says, slide into my DMs, BB. And I was like, is that actually Zuckles? Like, there's no way that's really Zuckles. And I clicked on it. It was actually him. And I fanboyed so hard in my room, dude. I was like jumping around. I was like, holy shit, I get to play with Mason. Like, this is fucking nuts. I get to play with Zuckles. And what happens, he hits me up, and then we recorded a video. It was like the first time we ever recorded together. It was like the best fucking Rust session, like, I think we've ever had. This is the one where we were trapped in a base, and a clan, we were fucking with this clan. And we met these people, and they were helping us build this base. And then we ended up getting like locked in the base. They were camping outside. So we were there, like fighting them off and holding off like hordes of these fucking slaves in the clan. And we're starting to starve. We were starving, and we were going to die and lose all of our shit. So I go to Mason, and I'm like, dude, what do we eat? And Mason's like, each other. And then I was like, and then we just looked at each other, and he started to laugh, and I just shot the kid in the head. That was the most
I ever laughed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're a There's an animation of this on Zuckles' channel, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a moment, dude. It was really good.
Never in my life in a game I've had to eat one of my teammates to survive. So that was definitely memorable, 100%.
It was good shit. But yeah, that's how I met Mason, and then I introduced him to you guys.
Yeah,
so it was through you that I met Mason. Is that right?
Yeah, it was
You
H1Z1. It was H1Z1.
The H1Z1 game.
Oh yeah, was that the first night we even talked?
Yeah, that's when we all
That was
got
such
together.
a good video.
Oh man, that was a great video.
It's
on my channel. The video is called, if anyone wants to watch it, it's called The Worst Team I've Ever Had.
Oh, that was
it's
so
an H1 video.
fucking funny.
And it's one of the only videos on my channel where like the entire it's entirely made up of one session, like 1 2 or 3 hour session together. It was just that funny that it made
it was hilarious. Video. It was so good.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah,
my driving was good in that.
Your fucking driving.
Your driving was spectacular.
Yeah,
well, let's talk about Toby next, because I guess it's a more basic story, but we've known each other since high school.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And then I just met everyone through you.
Yeah.
All right, that's a wrap.
How old were you when you came to my school?
I would have been
and we met?
either 14 or 15.
Yeah, so you were probably, I think you were like 14 and maybe I was 15.
Yeah.
And we sort of hit it off eventually through improv again, because I think we were both sort of super into just being silly on the spot, making shit up. So we started like doing lots of like improvised comedy together at school, and that was kind of how we bonded. And then when I eventually started my channel, you were there from pretty much day one. And at that point, I was a shitty DayZ channel, and just under 500 subs, doing like also just whatever the fuck kind of I wanted. And then I guess at what point when my channel started growing did you decide to make your channel and invest into streaming?
You probably had like 10k subs when you started streaming. And I remember every time you would stream, I would stream with you. Like I wouldn't stream myself, but I would be with you. Right. And then through that, I kind of just fell in love with streaming. And then for like, to be honest, it was probably like a year of streaming pretty much every day before I actually decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and see if it goes anywhere. And it was almost like I made the channel not because I wanted to, but because people kept on asking me to make it, and it was that other people wanted me to. And that was kind of that thing that pushed me into doing it, and now that I do it, I love it.
Well, during like the beginning of my channel when it was blown up, you were really like a predominant character like in my videos. Like it was mostly you and me messing with strangers. Like occasionally Swagger would come on and others, but the group was way smaller back then. So a majority of my funny moments was just us two bouncing off each other, and people really fucking, not to say that they still don't, but like you were the shit to those guys back then, you know, like you're nothing to them now, obviously. Like, back then you were really like the main guy on the Fitz videos, so they were like, dude, why is this guy not streaming? Why is this gonna have a channel? So I
was very lucky to be in that position where before I even made my channel, I had an audience. Like I remember before I even posted my first video, I already had 10,000 subs. Like I just had that pre-established audience of people that knew who I was, and that was very lucky.
Yeah. And the good thing is that I never really promoted you at all, other than just adding you to the descriptions. I think I shouted out your Twitch in one video with that song from Jake Hill.
That rap was so
good.
That
was nuts.
That rap was so fun.
Jake Hill's a really talented rapper.
Yeah, unreal.
It was good.
Jake Hill's a talented rapper, and I got him to write a rap song about Toby's Twitch so that I could put it in a video with an animation and shout him out. But that's the only time I've ever like in a video being like, hey guys, check out, John on the radio, he's really deserves more viewers. Like you pretty much just got it because people loved you for my videos, and they were like, oh look, there he is in the description, let's go check him out, let's go do it. So remember, it's like truly like they're your audience, like that's
exactly because I could have very easily got a super inactive audience of people that just followed me because of who I was rather than for my content.
Which is the problem with shout outs in general.
Exactly.
But, I think you did it right, and now look at you.
Now look at me.
You're the king. You're on the way up. I will let you overtake. All right. Well, the only person left is McCreamy, I guess. Who, again, I think I just hit you up on Twitter one day, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it started. Again, it was actually because of a surf server. Because there's this guy called Serenity who was one of McCreamy's friends. Like, is he a friend in real life? Online.
In real life.
So,
you know Serenity in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So on the surf server, I was surfing one day. This guy called Serenity comes on who's a regular. I think he was an admin. I think it was on ZTS.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but anyway, he's like, yo, dude, there's this other NZ YouTuber who's kind of he's killing it right now. He's called McCreamy. You should hit him up. So I'm like, oh man, like another YouTuber from New Zealand who's doing gaming. Like not many people are doing that in our country. So I hit him up on Twitter. I'm like, yo, let's play some Overwatch because that was what you were playing at the time. And I was like kind of addicted to it as well. And man, we just played a game and
because I was like a massive fan of your content, like way before all that. I saw all your stuff on Reddit and stuff, and when I saw that DM, I was literally like panicking. I was like, "Wait, what? No way!"
How funny is it that you had such a similar experience that Swagger had?
It was literally like, "Oh my god!" I was fanboying so hard.
Awesome. It's a great feeling, isn't it?
Swagger would binge watch my videos while high as fuck.
Dude. You have no idea. I remember like Mason, like whenever he'd watch a video, I'd watch it. And it was like before I started smoking too. Like this was like before I got heavy into smoking weed. I would just watch Mason's videos. And then when I would get bored, I'd watch them all again. And it was at this point, I remember it was in college. This was in college, like 2 years before I dropped out. No, like 1 year even. Yeah. This was when Mason went through his little like dry spell of never uploading a fucking video to YouTube for months at a time. And I'd always craved Mason content. And cause like Mason content was like the content that I'd love to watch high as fuck. So I'd walk out 1.5 miles with my roommate out into this place we called the Crack Shack. That was in my 100K. It's in my 100K special, the smoke spot where I smoked weed every day at college. It's in my 100K special. That's where I went to roll the joint. So that's immortalized in my via my YouTube because I have such a connection with that place. But either way, we'd go out there, we'd smoke a couple joints, or we'd smoke a pipe, or we'd smoke a bong, and then we'd walk back another 1.5 miles And then I'd get back to the dorm and I'd be like, well, what the fuck do I do now? I don't have any work to do. And, I could edit. And so I would edit, and then I'd be still pretty baked, and then I'd I'd lay down on my bed, turn my monitor to the side, and just put on fucking Russ videos, Mason's videos, and I just rewatch them in like chronological order, and be so entertained. And I'd get really angry after I'm done watching a couple of them, because I'd be like, why the fuck doesn't he upload? What is he doing? Why isn't he uploading?
Yeah.
I think that everyone who is in my audience right now is heavily relating to this feeling. The amount of comments I get where it's like, dude, you just need to fucking upload. It's like, well,
but you
I guess for me it's different.
You have a good upload schedule. It's still like every 2 weeks. Yeah. It's not that bad.
Well, it's good. Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's good for the quality that I put out, obviously. But I think that a lot of people don't understand. Like, there's always an irrational, like, dude, I wish this guy just could do this every day because that would be amazing. But like, that's wishful thinking, obviously, because it's literally impossible to do like more than once a week at the very least. So how funny is that though, that McCreamy kind of watched my stuff, before we even met, like long before we met. You were watching Zuckles.
It's almost wild. Like the stars aligned.
It's really like a very, like, I think it happens a lot for YouTubers, man, because people like, even like people like Smitty. I was never a diehard fan of his, but I knew who he was, and I've seen some of his like CS:GO funtages, and I knew that like he was like a veteran in the in the community, kind of, in a sense. He's been doing it for ages. He's very good at what he does. So when he joined the group, I remember, I don't know if you were in that session, Swagger. I think it was me, John, it was Bordy. Was it you as well, Jay? I'm pretty sure you were there for that first one. And like we played with them, and it was kind of like this weird. It was weird for him, odd. I think, because like our comedy is very different to I think what a lot of other YouTubers were doing at the time. Very like not afraid to say like shit that's kind of out there, like very improv based stuff, like very abstract.
Yeah.
But like I think by the end of it, he was really into it, and I mean I think that's why he started playing with us more and more, and now Smitty's a full on part of the group, and through Smitty we met McCreamy and all these other fantastic people.
Yeah.
So I remember I met Jameski through you guys. It was through you, Fitz.
Yeah.
It was Jameski.
Yeah, Jameski hit me up he just DMs me on Twitter, man. Like once you reach a point on YouTube, it's like people, like other YouTubers will just hear about you. They'll hit you up in the DM like, man, like your stuff, man. Let's play a game, and it's like that simple. And then next thing you know, you got a real long-term friend on your hands.
It's awesome. Yeah.
You meet their wider circle.
I collabed with Swagger when he was at 30K, and I was at like 60.
Best decision you've ever made.
To see him go up all the way to 800, man, that's just like.
Wait, no.
I'm so happy.
Didn't you say the best decision? Didn't you say the best decision you ever made was griefing Faceless?
The best decision I made on YouTube.
Was that your best decision?
Oh no!
Because if you didn't grief him, you wouldn't have met me.
I wouldn't have been here right now in this podcast.
You want to talk about that drama right now?
Let's do it. Yeah. Dude.
All right.
Let's get into your origin.
So, like, there was this one phase where me and Faceless were like the iconic duo on Rust. Everyone
talk about
knew
Faceless
us.
a little bit. He was just another Rust YouTuber at the time.
Yeah, he was another Rust YouTuber. But me and him were really fucking close. Like, we would sit up on surf servers till like 4 a.m. and just talk shit, like good buddies, man. Like, I really was I was really close with him. And then it got to a stage where like he kind of just fell off the wagon and stopped playing. And at the same time, stopped talking to me completely. And, I just felt a little lost because we were talking so frequently that I was like one of those attached fucking girlfriends, dude. I was like, oh come on, man. Like, what's going on here? Why aren't you talking to me as much? Yeah.
Babe, where are you?
Babe, where are you? But yeah, like, so I got to that stage and he just flat out ignored me. And he was playing Rust one day. And I shot him a message. I was like, "Oh, hey, dude, what are you doing?" He's like, he just pretty much said, none of your business. I don't want you to know. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, and he's just like, oh. And then that's when my boy Matty hit me up. And he's like, dude,
Matt G, right?
Faceless. Matt. This is Matt G. This is one of the other kids I used to play with. He's like 14, has a sleeve tattoo. But anyway,
that's very important detail.
As 14-year-olds in Geelong do.
Yeah. And he hits me up and he goes, "Oh, Faceless is making a fucking village with his subs. You wanna go fuck with him?" I'm like, "Dude,
video ever,
dude. Yes, I want to go fuck with him right now." And so yeah, we load up the server and we slap down a couple sleeping bags and we just infiltrate this village and just fucking slaughter it. Like we corrupt that village like no tomorrow.
What was the name of the video?
Was it like raiding Faceless? It was something like that.
It has to have been like griefing Faceless, griefing the Faceless army. That was it.
Griefing
that's
it.
Yeah, that's literally the most insane video I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. It turned out being one of my best videos ever, and I think the stretch for it was that. Well, the thing is, knowing him so well is that he hated losing. He was like me. We both hate fucking losing, and the fact that he lost to me. But like in that scenario with that many people, just fucking would have boiled
watching
his blood.
Live, just putting down all the wooden walls you stole. Yeah,
and you can hear him in game too, like screaming at these people that are subbed to him. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And so I ended up dropping the video, and all of a sudden, like the next day, he shoots me a message, and he's just like, you fucked up. Be the man. And apologize.
Didn't he say like you're like I'm removing you from my friends list or something like at the very end?
Yeah. He said, see how you're on my friends list. See you later. And I'm just like,
man.
He's a whiny little
funny
bitch.
is that how funny how serious it is that you guys were taking the situation. I'm looking at the comments right now on the video. And your comments, like for one thing, one of your comments is, "Don't be going on Faceless's channel and throwing immature comments at him that are unnecessary. What's done is done. Nothing you can say will change his opinion on what our friendship stands." All this stuff like that. Prepare for Faceless's defense video. As always, there are two sides of the story. It's like
it was full on.
Dude,
you'd think that you proposed war or something.
Let's talk about Faceless's defense video. How many minutes was it?
It was a 50-minute long video with
15
ads.
Minutes.
Almost an hour.
8 ads.
A 50-minute video.
Yeah, 50-minute video. It had 8 ads in it. For God knows the reason why. But
money.
I'm not gonna try and bash him too much because we've already had our fallout. But it was just like. It was just kind of like just shit that slandered me a lot. And at this point, I thought like my channel was completely over. I was getting dislikes. I was losing subs, but it wasn't going to stop me because, I started YouTube for a reason. Like I love making videos. So I just kept pushing through. And obviously that's
why you stopped uploading for like 3 months.
Yeah. It was part of the main reason as well. Why I fell off the bandwagon altogether. But,
how does this tie into you meeting... Swagger though, like how is this the best decision you ever made for your career?
So at the time it was like I said, we collabed when I was at 60k, it was at 30k, and at that time is when Faceless made the video, and I was losing a lot of subs, and obviously like I had no one else to play with, so I was just like, I was looking for some people, and I found Swags, and I thought he was like one of the funniest guys I've ever fucking seen. Just because, like, automatically, like most people think when they first see his videos, they automatically just think of Google Translate. So I was just like, yeah.
It was back when I was proto Swagger.
Yeah, proto Swagger, dude. Oh my god.
That's when you were putting on your voice a little more than usual.
Yeah, dude. I don't put my voice on anymore, which is liberating.
Yeah, you're very natural now. But yeah, I mean, like I did that as well. I put my voice on back in the day. It's very normal.
It was one of those things because my rationale was like starting out. It's like, I wanted to have like a kind of like what's the word like a kind of like an appeal, like kind of like a It was like I wanted to have this. I wanted to have like this kind of act where like I would talk like a radio announcer, except like my radio announcer voice kind of sucked a lot of dick. And it was very, very obvious that I put it on, and I always try to play it off like, I'm not putting it on. Yeah. This is my real voice. But it was very obvious that I was putting it on. And that was like one of those things that really gave me anxiety. It was like, if people find out that I'm putting on this fake voice, then I'm going to be a fraud, and then it's all going to tumble down. And then I just decided,
I think it's very common for like young YouTubers to or new YouTubers to put on a voice because like when you first hear your voice recorded, you hate it. It's just not normal to hear it.
I still hate mine now.
Yeah, see, like it takes a long time to get used to, a long time of editing, like hearing it back to get used to it. Part of it's like you want to have that character. Just to tie up the Faceless thing earlier, by the way, like we don't want to send any hate his way. Obviously, it was a long time ago, and Faceless has his side of the story and whatever. It's pointless drama. Like it was a Rust video.
It was
for
2
Christ's
years
sake,
ago.
so.
What's done is done, and he's doing his own thing now with streaming and stuff, and I'm doing my own thing now with YouTube.
He's doing great. I'm sure he's a solid guy.
Yeah. But
like I said, I think we've all had our run-ins with Faceless, but obviously, like it was a long time ago, and he's
exactly.
And
it's not like he just
knows.
it's not
he's
like
a
he
changed
just,
man. Everyone,
it's all. He doesn't do Rust anymore. It's Ark Survival Evolved. It's the new thing.
Of course,
it's the new thing.
Bit of game.
And it's not like
Faceless.
he just it's not like everything he did was fucking bad. Like he obviously there's a reason why I got so far because he helped me with everything and showed me what I can do.
You owe him a lot.
He played a huge. Exactly.
And
he
it's
played
one
an
of those
important
things.
role for me.
He's
and that's why there's two sides to every story. We'll see tonight at 8.
Yeah.
Cutting into the
Sam,
commercial
edit
break.
in like a little news intro there, please. Yeah, commercial
break. Helmet wax.
All right, well,
it's good for you.
Let's. That's like the whole introduction for everyone, I guess, summed up how we all met in this lobby today. Let's talk about how we feel about how far things have come, and how like crazy it is.
Oh, mate!
Now we're all hanging out in Sydney together, or Boston, or whatever.
I'll start with a very well thought out kind of deeply rooted conversation starter when it comes to this, very calmly and collectively. All right.
Speech.
It's fucking great! It's fucking awesome! It's the best! It's so fucking cool! And those are my thoughts on it. Those are my thoughts on it. It's really fucking awesome, and it's really surreal.
That's actually how I get out of bed every morning. Yeah.
But honestly, when it comes to when you get to a point with because I started and I was always like, I'm at 50K, and I would always tell myself, 50K isn't a lot. You're not big. You're not big. Then 100K hit. And I was like, 100K. A lot of I asked my friends. I'd say, by what amount of subscribers on YouTube would you say you're successful, or you're popular, or you're quote unquote famous? And I hate using that word famous, but I'd always ask, by what degree would you measure that? And they'd always say, 100K, 100,000 subscribers, I'd say you're famous. And I always disagree with that. I was like, no way. There's tons of fucking cunts with 100K. And
I agree with that.
And then I hit 500K, and I was like, 500K is big, but it's still small. It's not that good. I think I'm getting somewhere, but it's not that good. And then soon,
exactly right.
Soon I'm going to be at 1 mil, and
man.
Same with you. Same with you, McCreamy. We're at around the same subs. We're almost at 8.5, 850, and it's at this. It gets to this point where you're like, oh shit, I can actually hit this, and then and even the whole you examine your scope looking back, and it's just you're hit with this feeling of just it all being completely surreal, and you're like, oh, why me?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? To me,
exactly.
and then you feel guilty about it, oh, I wish I could do this with my friends, my real life friends, and you wonder what people think. And it's this. It's this very.
You almost get that bit of survivor's guilt.
That's exactly what it is. I had a conversation with my friend about because I was having kind of that issue, and I was like, hey man, I don't want the success to get in the way of a friendship, shit like that. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck. It's I don't know why the fuck you're talking to me. You got into a car accident and all your friends died. And I was like, oh, well, what do you mean? He goes, it sounds like you have this fucking survivors thing. Why me? And I was like, well, I guess that's kind of how it is. And that was always the thing that I had to deal with. That's the side of YouTube fame that you kind of have to examine and kind of overcome. And I think that's the way for pretty much everybody.
It's because
the way
you go
I view
into
YouTube.
It. Carry on, sorry.
Yeah, you go.
I was going to say.
You go.
I think it's because you go into it not thinking that it's ever going to get near what it actually does get to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why you think, why me?
That's I feel like a lot
of the thing about YouTube. Oh my god, can I just say my piece?
No.
Do you know how many subscribers I have on YouTube? No, what I was gonna say is you can talk after me. Damn it. Sorry. No, what I was gonna say is the way I view success on YouTube, it's for one thing, and this is just for people in general. enough is never enough, you know? Like, you don't reach 100K and you're like, I'm good. Like, I'm happy. I've reached it. It's always like, okay, shit, like, I'm here now. All of a sudden, like, your life updates, your mindset updates. You're like, this is my life now. Like, especially after like a month of being in that position. It's all of a sudden the new norm. It's like, all right, now 500K is the next goal, or $1 million or 2 mil or whatever. Like, you're never truly like satisfied. You don't just reach a point and plateau, you know? And another part of it is like when you don't have YouTube subscribers, the way you view YouTubers is like, shit, these guys are massive, like, famous people, you know, they must have like egos, they must have changed so much since when they started. But the reality is that when you reach these milestones, you're like looking around, you're like, I don't even belong here. I'm like the same fucking person I was. Like, I'm not buying Lamborghinis. Like, I'm just a regular ass guy. And you're looking around, you're like, holy shit, like, what the fuck is, like, A, did I earn this? Like, B, like, you know, how did I get here? Like, this is amazing. But at the same time, like, what the fuck? To quote Swagger. What the fuck? What the fuck? And it's like, it just never sets in. Like, it never sets in properly. Like, of course, every day you appreciate what you are. I'm constantly reflecting. I'm like, dude, this is truly like something special. Like, you know, a year and a half ago, I was working at the restaurant wiping tables.
Now you sip champagne and you own the restaurant.
Now I sip champagne and beat my servants. You know, like it's a real thing. Like, there's real appreciation. But the appreciation is definitely separate from like what your day-to-day life is, which is like, I'm going through the motions. I'm making my videos. This is my job. This is what I'm doing. And you're just this regular guy just working this job, which just happens to be amazing. You know, so you know, I think it's important to like reality check yourself. Be like, yeah, like I'm in a super lucky position right now, and thank God for everything I have and the friends I have. But at the same time, it's also like, can't wait to hit 3 million subscribers. You know, it's like you're always looking forward and stuff like that.
One of the reasons I value my whole helmet shtick is that, like, I can put on the helmet and be SwaggerSouls. So if I go to an event, everyone will recognize me and everyone will come to me, and then you know, there's that dynamic. But, you know, when I'm at home chilling and, you know, I'm in my house and I want to go out and you know, buy some, you know, jewel pods or whatever, I can just fucking walk out the door and people treat me like a person. People treat me normally. And I like having like this Hannah Montana syndrome, where, you know, I get the best of both worlds, where I can be a normal guy and people just look at me at face value. That's a normal guy. So that way, if I meet somebody and I'm friendly with them and they're friendly with me, we're friends as the merit of our personalities. And it's not an introduction, because I used to hate it. I used to really hate it when my friends would introduce me to somebody who I haven't met with, oh yeah, this is my friend, and he has 100K on YouTube. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'd be like, why would you say that? Because no matter what they think of my personality, they're gonna love me, because they just think that's cool, or they think it's interesting, or, you know, maybe they'll want something from me, and that's always like a kind of, I guess, paranoia. It's a paranoia you get when you meet somebody and they know you're a YouTuber, or that you have this influence, and you have to be like, okay, if you meet somebody and that's the stipulation, you're like, okay, well, what do they want from me? That's what you think, instead of, oh, how can I help this guy, or how can I be friends with him, or how can he help me? It's always like, oh, he wants something from me, and that just ruins a new relationship. It can't sprout anywhere past that.
That's especially true, especially for things like romantic relationships, where maybe like you want to meet a girl, you want to be in a relationship, and like it's a question of like, at what point do I tell her that this is my job? Because it's pretty hard to like avoid that. You know, it's kind of like a big part of your life. Yeah, it's like BRB, you got to play computer games and not go to work.
Why are you playing that dumbass Counter-Strike game instead of doing the dishes? Oh, I'm just relaxing.
Do you want me to buy you dinner or not?
In the group, I feel like I was the only one like with a relationship too. So that plays a fucking huge role, man. Like, you know, we played this game where it was like I'd swipe the card for everywhere we went, and I'd lose all my money. And
that doesn't sound like a fun game.
Whose bank account can reach zero the fastest?
But yeah, dude, if you get in a relationship like while you're doing YouTube, it fucks you up big time.
It's tough, man.
Another big thing that, you know, people always assume YouTubers are rich. The first question you get every time, if you tell someone you're a YouTuber, first question people say, how much money do you make? You must make a lot of money doing that, right? Not all YouTubers are rich.
As soon as I hit 100K, YouTube personally came to my house and handed me $1 million check.
Exactly.
I cashed it immediately. That's how YouTube works.
If you want to know how much money you make, you just go ask Fitz how much he could sell his gold play button for. Probably like $1, probably $2. Just
$2.
Yeah, just in terms of the material they use to make it.
Not that my net worth is like it's solely represented by a gold play button or anything, but it's like YouTubers really make a lot less on average than. Well, actually, it's tough to say because I think that like the really successful guys. The really successful guys, people have no idea how much money those guys make. The people who are, let's say, like in the more quality level channels, like people who upload on a less regular basis than getting millions of views every day, like it's a lot less than you'd probably imagine unless they're selling out the asshole. So, just look at Zuckles' bank account, for instance.
Exactly, dude. I'm practically in debt.
Dude, every time I look in his wallet, a tumbleweed falls out. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Toby's absolutely right. Like it's the number one question on everyone's mind. Like it's the reason that I got contacted by a local newspaper recently, asking for an interview. Yeah, because I'm like kind of a big deal in New Zealand now. we're a small country. Not that many people are leaving the cul-de-sac. So
Fitz has the same audience as the population of half of New Zealand.
That's crazy.
So, but anyway, like Ryan, our manager or my manager, he manages kind of all of us. He calls up the lady from the newspaper and he's like, hey, like. Fitz is just kind of concerned that this is just going to be about money, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's absolutely just about money. Like we want to know how much." Like she was literally like, "Yeah, like it's about." In her defense, it was about like entrepreneurship in New Zealand, but like,
I mean, props to her for being straight up and not being like, "Oh no, we want to know about his family and how he came to grow." And then as soon as you get on, he's like, "How much money do you make?"
Yeah. For that reason, I just don't think it's worth any YouTubers unless you're positive it's going to be a good thing for your image to like go on the news.
Well, that's the shit with Ninja. Ninja had interviews, and they'd always ask him like,
with Twitch though. It's different because they think he makes like $500K a month, which we all know was like he makes a lot more than that.
Yeah,
and because
way more.
Twitch earnings are very public.
Because
how
many subs do you have?
How many subs someone has?
How many subs do you have?
They have. You do the math.
By 2.5.
Yeah, and not only that, then you have brand deals, then you have donations.
You got brand deals and donations. There's a lot more. But the question,
like the news is like, so Ninja, you make this much, and he's like, yes, I do, and like he knows well that he's making more than what.
It obviously annoys him. I watched the H3 podcast where he was on, and he talked about it, and it's always like H3 even said like it's like. The interviewer will say, so you make $500,000 a month by just playing a video game? It's like, Michael Jordan makes $2 million playing a fucking game where it's like, oh, you just dribble a ball? You shoot it in the hoop? That's not talent. And that's kind of the shit that happens.
Mainstream media is very much on
the way out.
Catching up to do, obviously. Yeah, on the way out. They're threatened by YouTubers because we got this... like it's like Ryan was saying about Liza Koshy. She did a commercial with Beats. Her ad got clicked on like 11 times more than like a famous singer or a famous athlete because
absolutely
the connection that creators have with their audiences is so much more real than just like a person, some celebrity with a bunch of Instagram.
It's way deeper.
Like it's a real thing. It's like there's no middleman. It's like it's raw. It's from the creator to the people to the consumer. And that's a beautiful thing, and that's why
it's extremely personal. That's why I love YouTube. It's because you have this personal relationship with your audience. It's not like you're an actor and you want to distance yourself from people that want to come to your house and shoot you in the head with a gun, a la John Lennon. So it's one of those things.
It's the best.
I feel like it's almost like the modern day version of like that old song you used to hear, like "Video killed the radio star." It's almost like that's
YouTube
what like YouTube is now.
The mainstream media star.
Yeah, like the TV star now. It's just like,
So I mean, well, how do you feel, Zuckles, about where you're at, in your life right now?
I mean, like I have I wouldn't say I'm depressed, but like I've had sleepless nights where I just lay there and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Because like I have this opportunity, but I don't grab it by the balls. You know what I mean? Like I just, it's just like one of those things. I think it like. I still can't find the reason for it. Maybe maybe I'm lazy. Because I've always played.
You're going to be
super common, dude.
Well, the thing is, I've always played games for me. I've been playing like games for like over a decade now, And it's just like it's always been for me to get away like help my anxiety, like, you know, just to get away from everything. And I think that plays like a huge part in why I don't upload and stuff, because I'm sitting there focused on playing the game rather than like trying to record, you know what I mean?
Once it's your job, it's not a getaway anymore. It's a getaway sometimes, but a lot of the time it's just another way that you need to be working.
Well, all of a sudden the gaming becomes less of an escape of anxiety, and we're like, holy shit, I got to upload anxiety.
More anxiety.
But at the same time, you know, you're a bit younger than what are you, 18, 19?
Yeah, 18,
Yeah, so you're younger. You're in a different position. You know, you're still at home. There's a lot of things, you know, that, you know, you got a long way to go in life. Of course, you know, we're old and wise, all of us here,
Fuck off,
except
cunt,
for
you're
you.
not that old.
I'm literally
no, but I'm just saying that, like, you know, you're just getting your start, you know, and like it's tough. People don't really think about this. People think that like when you hit 100K on YouTube, your future's laid out for you. When in reality, you know, even me, I get like serious anxiety about like, where am I going to be in 5 years? Am I going to have to go back to university? Is this going to pay off in the long run? What if my audience starts hating me for something? What if I get caught up on some drama? So, you know, like, especially when you're in that position, 100K, 200K, you know, I would say anywhere between 100K and $1 million, your career can be very much in jeopardy and feel very like unstable, you know, like all sorts of things. So
like
it's really just about learning how to control your stress and, you know, get a rein on your life, I guess.
YouTube compared to a normal job as well. It's like with a normal job, right? You've just got like, it's all like there for you. Like you can just do
it's
it.
like I said, like it's laid out.
It's consistent. It's very consistent.
With YouTube, you kind of just roll with the ball, and that ball can just fall off the path at any minute. It's just like
Yeah, well, on YouTube, like it's up to you, and if you fuck up, you're done. Like it's like you feel like you've got everything right. You've got this opportunity, and you know, it's like holding a jug full of water and you don't want to fucking make it spill over, you know? It's like, you got to like get it from point A to point B successfully. And there's all these obstacles in your way, which are going to make you spill, you know, the water off the side, you know? It's like, it's like precarious. Women. So like women, I don't understand the metaphor, but you know,
like women.
Let's just generalize women.
But on that point, I often get a lot of questions, but sure everyone here gets a lot of questions by fans that are aspiring content creators, that are aspiring YouTubers that want to, you know, make videos or stream, and they ask for, you know, like, what tips could you give me? What tricks could you give me? Like, what advice could you give me to start a channel? You guys want to touch on that? Like, what advice would you offer?
When I get asked that question, what I always say when I get asked that question, I'm like, dude,
don't
like,
try. You're gonna fail.
With nothing.
Yeah,
dude.
Well, I'm like, dude, just have fun. Enjoy, figure out if you enjoy editing your videos, because like so many people really like the ideal of being a YouTuber, and then they realize, man, this is a lot of work, and for the first year or so, you're not getting a lot of feedback, you know, a lot of positive feedback for your work that you're putting in.
Not instant gratification.
I'm trying, I'm working, I'm editing, and like I'm getting 2 views, you know, like it feels bad. So
that's what a lot of. Oh shit! That's what a lot of kids are like these days, you know.
I say earlier, but
like, no, like, sorry, but all these like, you know, like all these, like I've seen all these kids, and like now they're seeing this new gen of kids that, you know, are coming on YouTube since mainstream media is dying off, as you know. And
it's
like,
a dream, man.
Yeah, they all assume that you can just become a YouTuber and just be successful, but it doesn't work like that. Like we told the stories at the start, you know, it all ties together and kind of like, in a sense, lucks out. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you can do everything right. You can follow it by the book, and you can still not be successful.
I'd say it's 10% luck, and then it's 90% dedication. Oh, fuck you! No, we're not doing that.
50% pain. Sorry.
No, but it's like 10% luck. Like,
it's a lot of luck.
Because I lucked out being in that one match with iNot. I could have gone to sleep and have never gotten a start on YouTube. But
it could have taken you another year to get your start.
Oh,
you know,
it could have, you know, maybe another day.
You
just don't know. It's just a lot of it's luck, a lot of it's exposure. You know, either through Reddit or a viral video or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, or you could, you know, keep making consistent, well-made content with high production value. Keep posting it. Eventually, people will find it. People will share it, and then you'll grow organically and naturally, like a nice little stem of weed. And then you get to nip the bud and smoke it, and then you're rewarded. You know,
what are you gonna say, John?
I was just saying, you know, as much as obviously there is the luck and the dedication and stuff, you do obviously still have to make good content that people want to see.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And you have to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah,
like the thing is that like everyone, let's take it back to the 80s when I was just a young boy, obviously, because I was alive in the 80s.
I wasn't even
everyone wanted to be a movie star. Everyone wanted to be
87.
Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
The fat kid doesn't become Michael Jordan, all right? He's not an athlete. It just doesn't work out for him, because he's just not the kind of person that can pull it off maybe, or maybe like he can through years of dedication and training. But some people like the idea of being a YouTuber, but it just doesn't work out for them because maybe they're just not those kinds of people. Maybe they're not good entertainers. Maybe they're.
It is definitely a certain type of person.
It's a tough reality because it's the dream of so many people. But some people, it's like, you just don't have whatever entertainment value that people are seeking at the time, and you can try again. But it doesn't work. That's not to say that's not to discourage people, but it's.
If you're listening and you have an interest in it. My top advice for just the start is, I'm pretty sure the way all of us did it is we did it as a hobby first. It was something we did to relax.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I was always interested in video editing, even throughout high school and even a bit in middle school. I thought films were cool. I thought TV was cool. I thought videos were cool. I watched a lot of YouTube, and I was like, maybe I should start, trying to figure out how to edit. I had done some school projects where I got, into editing, and I was like, oh, you could do some cool shit. You can do some interesting stuff. And I streamed for a while, and I think I streamed for about a year. And then, I was like streaming at really odd hours. It was like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I got like 3K follows on Twitch, and I was only getting like anywhere from 10 to 20 viewers per stream. And that was on a good day. So I figured like, maybe I should start doing YouTube. So I did YouTube because that way I could record separately. I can edit the video, and then I can upload it, and it stays up there forever. And then that way people will just stumble on my content, and if they like it, they subscribe, and then they watch more. And I'd say it would be a better, more organic way of growth, rather than streaming and hoping for people to come on and watch. So, because it's very, very hard to start off streaming and then go to YouTube. Whereas if you're on YouTube and you hit it big, the audience translates very easily to Twitch, and of course they're very different the way they play. But I started out as a hobby, and my editing, if you look at my like original videos, like Movie Maker, like it was shit. My editing was dog shit. It was really, really, really bad. The concept was there. It was very prototypical. The concept was still there, and I made it into what it is now. And my editing is still evolving, as is, everyone's editing is evolved.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. You need to start it out as a hobby without an expectation of getting big, because it has to be something you enjoy and something that motivates you and something that you like to do. And otherwise, you're gonna quit after a month or 2 months, and then you would have just wasted your time.
Exactly. Like, you can't start it out and treat it like a job right off the bat, because I think what so many people do is they'll start out, they'll be like, okay, I want to hit 1K by the end of November. Let's do it. I'm going to do it. And all they do is they upload, they try, and they start getting depressed because their analytics aren't reflecting their goal. When it's a totally abstract goal. It's not like a goal with law school where it's like, okay, after 3 years, I'm done, and I can, whatever. It's like, it's an abstract goal. You don't know if it's going to pay off. So it's just like, you can have a loose goal, but you can't like be like, all right, by this point I'm getting 1K, by this point I'm getting 10K. It's not incremental like that. And if you treat it like a job before it's a job, you're going to find yourself like, maybe it pays off for you. Maybe you get 100K subs. You're going to find yourself in a position where you're all of a sudden you're able to do it full time, and you don't even fucking like it because you never liked it. You just like the ideal. You just like the ideal of being a YouTuber, and now that you're there, you're like, oh, this is a lot of work, and I'm depressed, and then you drop off. So, hobby, guys, have fun. Please have fun, and just fucking focus on improving your editing.
Just do it if you like it.
On
high production. Get through school. Absolutely.
Get through school.
Not necessarily.
I did it,
not necessarily
and I'm autistic.
College, but at least finish high school.
No, just get that certificate.
At least finish high school.
Get that certificate. Yeah.
Even
100%.
I didn't like stop college until I was at like a very good point, and like even then I was at a good point where I could have stopped college and been good for a good while. But even then, I was like, okay, if I do like 1 or 2 more semesters, I'll be that much more with my degree. I would have finished my math. I would have been at a good halfway point or a stopping point. So even then, when I was set to do YouTube full time, I still wanted to make sure I was at a good stopping point in college, just in case, because you never know with YouTube.
Be responsible, guys. Take care of your life, because You can't just like throw caution to the wind, you know. Like, obviously, like everyone loves the idea of dropping everything and pursuing their dream, but you got to make you got to be responsible along the way and make sure that you're set up and you have a fallback plan, or you have family or whatever, you know.
Because even when
take care of yourself.
Even when I was at 250K, and it was somewhere around that, and I was still set, like, oh, I got to finish college. I got to finish my degree. I swapped my major from computer science to RTF because that's what I liked more. I hated computer science. I didn't like the code. I didn't like the theory. It wasn't for me. It was too much work. And I was already too focused on making YouTube videos every week. That was still like my main thing. You know? Smoking weed too. That was a problem. But even after, I was like, oh, I still got to get my degree because my dad wants me to get my degree. And then one day my dad goes, hey, by the way, if you want to drop out of college and do YouTube, I'm 100% behind you. That is completely fine. And I was like, oh, no, Dad, I want to get my degree because I stand up for what I believe in, and that is getting my degree. And then I went to PAX Australia, and I was like, fuck this, I'm dropping out of college. Fuck this shit, I'm dropping out.
Like, psych, Dad.
And I told my dad, I was like, yeah, Dad, can I drop out of college? He's like, yeah, we've already had this conversation. I was like, okay, yeah, looks like I'm dropping out. Cool. But I still want to be with my friends.
Parents are a big part of things.
Absolutely.
I think that, speaking of, PAX Australia, we were all there except for McCreamy, who never comes to events because he's pathetic.
Fuck you.
That's right.
We'll see him at an event soon. But no, like, the rest of us were all at PAX Australia together. It was our first time meeting each other in real life. My first time seeing Swagger's face. Toby's
dude.
as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I remember everyone's first time seeing Swagger's face.
I remember.
So like this,
it was like Toby's editor, Blue Ryan, our manager, took a picture with Blue, and he said, "Hey, finally met Swagger," and then put it in the DM with everybody on Twitter, and everyone was like, "Why? Why would you spoil it? Why would you fucking spoil it?" And then it wasn't me. I remember like Mason came to me and Matt's fucking hotel. And he's like, knock, knock, and he's knocking. And I go, yeah, man, give me a minute. Like I projected my voice. I was like, yeah, man, give me a minute. And he's like, oh, okay. And I opened up the door and it was just my face. And he was just like, this fucking primal expression, just confused. Like, what the fuck? And he did like a double take. He looked around the room and there was no one else there. And he was just like, huh? And I was like, hey, Mason. And you were like, oh, what the fuck? He was so freaked out.
That was a good way.
Yeah, that was a good meme.
Me and Toby saw you for the first time was that we were in this little Twitch
we were at the Twitch
or something. It was like a conference for Twitch staff and Twitch creators. Me and Toby are sitting there with our manager, Ryan. We're like, we know that Swagger is on his way with iNut. And like all of a sudden, our manager Ryan walks in front of us, and like behind him is Swagger. And I won't describe his features, but like, I remember just looking at him and being like, oh, just some random guy. And then I did a double take and I'm like, no, is that fucking SwaggerSouls? Holy shit. And Swagger just raises his eyebrows at me and he's just like, yeah.
No, I raise my eyebrows and you go like that. And then I sit down and then Ryan goes, yeah, that's Matt and that's Swagger. And then you look at me and you're like, oh, and like you got like this pissy face like this, like for a split second. And then you went to shake my hand. You're just like, oh, fuck you. It was good.
What do you mean, fuck you?
It was just like a knit of the eyebrows and like a nose scrunch. Like, oh, come on, you dogged me. And then it was the little dab on. Oh, dude, you remember?
Can I just add? Yeah. Can I just add that during this first time meeting SwaggerSouls in real life and seeing his face, this was during a Twitch meeting, right?
My God, we were supposed to be quiet.
It was like an important thing, right? Swagger immediately upon sitting down, Swagger's hitting his fucking vape and like blowing smoke. Like it's the most SwaggerSouls thing you could imagine him to do.
Dude,
he starts taking out this bag of chocolates.
Yeah, no, and he's like wrinkling them real loud. I took it because I was so bored because I didn't give a fuck and it was stupid. And I took out the bag and I was just fucking crinkling it. Here, let me see if I can find something to demonstrate.
Yeah,
I was literally just doing this.
Like that one asshole in the movie theater. This was an important like Twitch conference with Twitch staff taking time out of that day.
We weren't even supposed to technically be there.
No, we weren't.
We were bored.
I took one of the chocolates with these honeycombs. So it was chocolate, and then you'd bite it, and it would just make this loud crunch. And I made an effort to make it as loud and as obnoxious as possible. And Ryan was just shooting me like this death glare. Like, stop. And then Chad, this was my first time seeing Chad and meeting him in real life. he was
anything for views.
Yeah, anything for views. He was sitting across from me, and I literally lift up my chocolate and offer him one, and he just goes, "Oh yeah." So he reaches across the aisle, grabs one, and starts munching on it. And I'm ghosting my jewel and all that shit. And then at the end, they did like a Q&A, and we were about to leave, and I literally go to Ryan. I go, yo guys, how much?
You're in the group chat.
Oh yeah,
you're in the group chat, like texting us.
Yeah, I go. How much for like what if I just said like if I just said like my name is like this ridiculous name. I'm a blank streamer, and I fucking and then I asked some ridiculous question. Everyone was like, "Do it, just fucking do it." So I raise my hand, and they get to me. I stand up so everyone sees me. I go, "Hi, I'm Block Savage 1776. I'm a Roblox streamer. Where's the bathroom?" And then everyone's looking at me, and then the guy goes, "Oh, it's down the hall, the second door on the left." I was like, "Okay, thanks." And then I walked out, and then
we
all of us followed him.
Yeah, no, immediately as soon as Swagger says, like, half the room bursts out laughing, and half the room's like, "What the fuck? This is so uncomfortable." Like, it was this awkward vibe of like, some people got it, and some people are like, "Dude, this is really fucking awkward." And then our entire group immediately like starts laughing, and we just like rush out of the room after him. Like, we all just leave. We just gap it. And we're outside.
Dude, one of the best things about like all meeting each other is some of the fucking stories we've like come up with.
We can save that for more podcasts.
So we can save we got to debate. We got to debate them. We can't. We just got to tell them, boys. We got some fucking bangers for you.
There's a lot of good stories.
There's a lot of fucking good stories.
The next podcast, I think we're gonna like finally get it down on audio waveforms. The Poland story, which some of you guys may have heard.
I need to hear that, man.
Shit.
I can't wait.
Good.
It'll be my first time hearing it as well.
I think this is a good end to like the first kind of pilot episode. You know, we kind of got the groundwork done. We found out how we all met each other. We found out like how we're feeling about YouTube and our careers and things like that. You know, we talked about the PAX Australia trip, where I think it really cemented for all of us like, holy shit, we're here. You guys were like, what the fuck? I'm in Australia with my YouTube friends.
That was surreal.
We really fucking made it.
Oh, yeah. We
really made it, you know, like that was when it real settled in, like, dude, we're YouTubers. Like, what the fuck is our life? You know, like stuff like that. So, you know, I think this is a pretty good place to end it off. You guys reckon? We've been at for about an hour, I think. So
yeah,
that's good line.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, thanks for listening to the Misfits podcast, episode 0, the pilot episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna try and do this as a weekly thing, I think. So, you know, not sure when this is going to be released, but hopefully at some point in the near future. That's a good place to end it.